Good morning. Historic election. Votes continue to be counted this morning across the country, and overnight President Trump's path to victory narrowing. The latest in moments on the presidential election.
Plus, local races called. We know who the winners are in several contests across the state, including the governor's race. This morning, a recap of the results and what's next.
And warm weekend. Nice weather is on tap. Temperatures reaching into the 70s and no rain is expected. Our weather team has you covered in moments. Get the coffee ready and open up those eyes. You're waking up with Cardinal weather.
From Ball State Unified Media, you're waking up with Cardinal weather live from the Ball State Weather Center.
We begin this morning with a live look at the White House. As you can see right there, a very beautiful morning in Washington, D.C. But of course, the presidential election is where we're starting off with this morning. Good morning, everybody. What a crazy few days it has been. Thank you so much for being here with us. I'm Tyler Brummett.
And I'm Annie Keister, and a lot to dive into this morning. Day 4 of Election Day, or Election Night, what some people are calling more of Groundhog's Day.
I know some people have not gone to bed throughout these last several days, so of course we're going to have you covered. We do want to let you know that we will get to your weather headlines here in just a moment. But again, beginning with election 2020, the latest this morning from Georgia, where Democrat nominee Joe Biden is in the lead.
And we're going to go ahead and take a look at this map right here. No media outlets have projected a winner yet in Georgia, where it's still too close to call. Former Vice President is just ahead by 900 votes, which separates them by less than 0.1%. Georgia was a state many experts predicted President Trump to win. The state carries 16 electoral votes. As far as total goes, Biden leads overall with 264 electoral votes to Trump's 214, according to the Associated Press and Politico.
So, Annie, one state some outlets have already called, including the Associated Press and Politico, is Arizona. However, most organizations still say right now, Arizona is just too close to call. Biden does hold a lead that's over 2% with 90% of the votes counted. Nevada we go now. There are 8 electoral votes still up in the air. The former vice president still holding on to a narrow lead this morning. And let's head over out east to North Carolina. The candidates vying for 15 electoral votes. President Trump ahead, over 50% of the total votes counted in his favor.
And finally, Trump's lead in Pennsylvania is dwindling. 20 electoral votes are at stake. 97% of the votes are in. The candidates separated by 0.3%. And the showdown continues as President Trump is taking legal action today.
Yeah, the president's campaign filing lawsuits in multiple states, falsely claiming voter fraud and victory. Judges in Georgia and Michigan have dismissed suits, claiming some of the votes were cast illegally. Pennsylvania vote counting will resume with observers in place.
We were winning in all the key locations by a lot, actually. And then our numbers started miraculously getting whittled away in secret.
Meanwhile, the former vice president reiterating yesterday, every vote needs to be counted. Like President Trump, his campaign believes they're on a path to winning the election, but also says it's not over yet.
We have no doubt that when the count is finished, Senator Harris and I will be declared the winners. So I ask everyone to stay calm, all the people to stay calm. The process is working. The count is being completed, and we'll know very soon. So thank you all for your patience.
Waits for the results from those battleground states. Some people are raising concerns about the validity of some ballots. The Arizona Attorney General's office is investigating after getting hundreds of complaints about ballots being filled out with Sharpie in Arizona's biggest county. This includes the Phoenix area, the state's capital. When going to vote in person, many voters were given a Sharpie by poll workers.
Filled out my front side of my ballot with the Sharpie, and when I turned it over, it had bled through so badly that I was a little bit concerned.
Now, poll workers, they did assure voters their votes would be counted. Election officials have been asked to provide information to the Attorney General's office if any ballots filled with Sharpie were rejected because of ink bleeding through.
And of course, our sister show, NewsLink Indiana, is your election headquarters. Join us today for NewsLink Indiana Midday for the latest results and a breakdown of what's happening. That'll be today at 11:30.
And Annie, we're also going to have a recap of local races in this show a bit later this morning. But let's go ahead now and talk about your local weather. Ryan Crump, let's send it over to you.
Good morning, Tyler. Good morning, Annie. I got a question for you. Do y'all like 70s?
Yes.
Well, if you do, I got the exact forecast for you. But keep in mind, this will not last forever because we do have a cool down. We talk a little bit more about that in our full forecast in just a bit. But take a look at these temperatures right now. 47 degrees in Lafayette, 50 degrees in Muncie. So it's still pretty chilly out there for this time, so keep that jacket out there. Look at these highs, look at this high today, 72 degrees. Yes, 72 degrees is going to be our high today. This is November that we're talking about, guys. This is not September or October that we're talking about. Take a look at this radar right now. There's nothing going on right now. It's pretty much clear as we look outside this morning, and it's going to remain that way as the sun's going to warm up those temperatures. And take a look at now. Look out. If you look out east, there's a little few showers out there, but that's not going to be too much of a threat to them as we go through the day. And you're going to take a look at these headlines. Look at this. Warm, usually warm temperatures. We also got some showers coming on Tuesday as the cold front comes into our area. And of course, you all knew this was coming. This is November that we're talking about right here. Of course, there's a cool down coming in our area. We have more of that coming up on our full forecast after this. Back to you, Tyler.
Hey, Ryan, thank you. But meanwhile, in Central America, Tropical Depression Eta continues its route into the U.S. The system continues to cause heavy flooding. Honduras, Guatemala, and Belize could see nearly 30 inches of rain. Other nearby countries could see 20 inches or more. Eta made landfall Tuesday as a Category 4 hurricane. At least one person has died in Honduras, and 4 have died in Guatemala due to the storm.
At 8:06 now, across the Pacific, Typhoon Gani slammed the Philippines over the weekend. At least 17 people are dead and 2 million have been impacted. It was the strongest storm this year with wind speeds up to 133 miles per hour. That's equivalent of a Category 5 hurricane. Known locally as Typhoon Raleigh, it caused heavy rainfall, flooding, and landslides before weakening. Gani is one of the strongest storms to hit the Philippines since 2013, when a storm there killed more than 6,300 people.
And in Fresno, California, snow is in the forecast for the weekend. Anna Giles reports on how some residents are planning to celebrate in the change of weather.
There's snow excitement here at Squaw Valley. Forecasters are expecting several inches. They've been making their own snow here for a couple weeks now. And the real thing is going to be a big boost.
And I'm super stoked. Should be radical. Hopefully it's enough to get some shredding on.
It may be the quiet weeks before ski season officially starts at Squaw Valley.
Right now it feels like almost summer.
But the energy level is getting louder by the hour.
I can't wait. It's truly, like it should have been here yesterday.
The National Weather Service is expecting 3 to 8 inches at above 5,000 feet. The prospect of some decent pileup has locals making plans to break out the snowboards.
Building up a little jump if there's enough snow, making couple of little rails and hitting some jibs and do a little snowboarding.
The snowy weather is expected to move in Friday morning and continue until Sunday morning. The colder temperatures will help preserve man-made snow at the resort ahead of opening day later this month.
You need the consistently cold temperatures because if you don't get that, whatever you produce, it just melts away.
Ski season goes on, but it will look a bit different this year. Squaw Valley says they've invested roughly $1 million to increase physical distancing and sanitizing throughout the facility. Things like more outdoor seating and sanitizing sprayers.
It's a whole new year, so I just hope everyone can be safe.
Along with this winter storm come the winter warnings. Take it slow on the roads and be prepared for closures.
All right, moving on now. The U.S. has just become the first country to officially exit the Paris Climate Accord. The landmark agreement between 189 countries to protect the planet was finalized back in 2015 under the terms of the Climate Accord. A country can't leave the agreement until 1 year after signaling plans to withdraw. Wednesday marked 1 year to the day the U.S. indicated that it wanted to leave the accord. All of the world's major other superpowers and top greenhouse gas emitters are still a part of that agreement. Experts anticipate if Joe Biden wins the election, the U.S. will likely rejoin. Just ahead in moments, we're going to be talking about the coronavirus pandemic. We'll have the latest on what state health officials had to say.
You're going to want to stay with us. All that after your weather now. Welcome back. It's 8 and on your Friday morning, and we want to go ahead and jump into some of those coronavirus headlines this morning. The United States reports more than 102,000 new COVID-19 cases confirmed Wednesday. That's the first time the U.S. reached six figures, and it's the highest amount of cases the U.S. has seen in a single day since the virus broke out. John Lawrence reports.
Despite President Donald Trump's repeated claim that the coronavirus would one day disappear, it hasn't yet.
Make no mistake, this pandemic isn't over, not by a long shot. And it's not enough for us to just know more. We have to act differently.
A report from the White House Coronavirus Task Force is warning states that there is a continued increase in cases, hospitalizations, and fatalities nationally, spreading southward from the coldest climates as the population moves indoors and cases increase exponentially.
This is an absolute killer, and we have got to stay on our toes. We've got to wear a mask. I mean, how big a deal is this when it really, really gets right down to it?
North Dakota has the highest number of cases per capita in the U.S., but most states are seeing an increase in cases, including Kansas.
Wichita has two major hospitals, Ascension Via Christi and Wesley Medical Center, have 0 ICU beds available.
And Illinois.
Compared to just last week, every single one of our 11 regions has seen an increase in the average number of people going into the hospital every day with COVID-19.
But some health experts say it's too late to develop a national testing strategy. I'm John Lawrence reporting.
And Dr. Robert Redfield, the head of the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, tweeted Wednesday that, quote, now is the time to develop a testing strategy to maximize our ability to identify the silent epidemic of asymptomatic COVID-19 infections.
Back here in Indiana, Governor Eric Holcomb and state officials talked about Tuesday's election and the coronavirus pandemic during their weekly COVID-19 briefing. The governor on defense, insisting his response to the pandemic has not been politically motivated. Indiana leaders acknowledging the numbers still aren't good. The state seeing more than 4,400 cases yesterday. The governor asked Wednesday afternoon if he was concerned with the loss of support due to his response to the pandemic, including implementing the statewide mask mandate.
Unfortunately, or fortunately for us, we just don't make decisions based on politics. And so what I would say is we're making decisions based on the common good and trying to get us through this as safely and swiftly as possible.
Hoosiers were safe, according to Holcomb, when they went to the polls, and he says that Indiana showed that it can all be done properly during a pandemic.
And the National Institutes of Health is issuing an influential coronavirus model to evaluate the impact of wearing a mask. The director of NIH said 130,000 lives could be saved by March just by wearing a mask. This was announced in a blog posted Tuesday. Dr. Francis Collins calls it a simple, selfless act. He says right now only about half of Americans wear a mask in public, but if most people decided to wear a mask, tens of thousands of lives could be saved. The model used in this blog currently predicts that COVID-19 deaths could surpass 1 million in the U.S. by the end of February.
St. Louis giving coronavirus patients an option to vote in person on Election Day. Residents cast their ballots at a drive-in voting site near the city's election board headquarters. That's where a new parking lane was set up Monday. That lane was only by the voters who were COVID positive at the time of voting, but did not vote by mail. Voters interacted only with election workers who wore protective gear from head to toe. Two election workers also were very nice. They gave voters a safe, socially distant air hug.
All UK residents in Liverpool will be tested for COVID-19 regardless of whether they have symptoms. Testing starts today for the first UK citywide testing effort. The goal is to quickly identify people who have had the virus and reduce transmission substantially. 2,000 military personnel will be developed to help Liverpool roll out the scheme. Liverpool was the first English region to register some of the highest infection rates in the UK.
Also this morning to Indonesia we go, the country planning to vaccinate 9 million people with an experimental vaccine. The vaccine was developed by Sinovac Biotech in China. According to a senior government minister, the vaccine will be administered in the third week of December so that the country can reopen popular tourist destination Bali by the end of next year. The Minister for Maritime Affairs says the investment is really something that he's interested in, and he wants the area to be a green zone.
The chief of the Oxford coronavirus vaccine is optimistic it could be ready before Christmas. Andrew Pollard told UK lawmakers at a government committee hearing today there is a, quote, small chance it will be revealed to work before the end of the year. But he stressed the data must be reviewed by regulators before the vaccine can be distributed. He said he did not know the timeline of that. Mr. Pollard said, quote, "We are getting closer to, but not there yet." Transitioning here a little bit this morning. It is warm, it is beautiful, but it's not November, Nathan.
Giving a socially distanced air hug to these temperatures out here in the east with how warm it's going to be here. That's the big story here, is the warm temperatures out east and the cooler temperatures out west. Taking a look outside right now, 50 in Muncie, 57 Minneapolis, 50 in Kansas City, and 63, good morning to you, in Las Vegas. Now you'll see these temperatures throughout the day today becoming warm across the middle section of the country and staying warm there out west. By the time we get to the day tomorrow, check out how these temperatures become amplified. 70s here in the middle of the country. Only 42 degrees there in Las Vegas, indicated by that cooler air coming in here out west. So here out east, we do have above average temperature probabilities in the forecast here over the next 6 to 10 days. Look out west here though, below average probabilities, and you're going to see that here heading into this weekend and into next week. Here out west in Phoenix Raceway is the NASCAR Championship here this weekend, Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern Time, 1 p.m. local time here in Phoenix. Notice these temperatures though, quite cool because all things considered. It's going to be warmer here in Muncie compared to out in Phoenix here this weekend for the championship race. Temperatures rising into the 60s, 66 by 3 o'clock, 67 by 5 o'clock. Southwest wind there, so hopefully keeping those rain showers away. There's a slight chance of a stray shower there late in the race. Looking forward to the championship race. Denny Hamlin, Chase Elliott, Joey Logano, Brad Keselowski, all possible champions here this weekend, whoever finishes first, so we'll have to see who gets the championship for NASCAR this weekend. Taking a look at the radar here across the country, not a whole lot going on here. Just seeing some potential showers here across Florida as some tropical moisture continues to work its way toward the area in association later this week with Tropical Storm Ada coming its way, as well as some moisture here as well off to the north and west. Watches and warnings, some fog advisories across some locations in the center of the country. Main story here is fire weather watches and red flag warnings across the center of the country, combination of gusty winds and low humidities, and winter storm watches here across Montana and as well across parts of the center of Nevada and parts of the west here. So certainly winter-like conditions here out west, warm conditions here out east, seeing winter storm warnings and watches up in the mountains there as well, and air quality alerts for the Central Valley. So a lot going on here in national weather, so I'm looking forward to the warm temperatures here out east, guys.
All right, Nathan, thank you so much. You want to come join us over here?
Yeah,
You know
for
what?
sure.
I'm really not one to complain about the warm temperatures. I have nothing bad to say about that.
Yeah, it's really nice in other parts of the country. Hopefully we can, keep some of the nice weather we've been having here.
I mean, warmer here than Phoenix. Are you kidding me for November? Just awesome to see these temperatures still in the 70s. Love it.
Absolutely crazy, Nathan. Thank you so much. Now, in just a moment, Nestle is working on food for more than just people.
Yeah, this is really interesting. We'll have that story after a message from Ed. Stay with us.
Riding the bus is an easy thing to do. Last year, we carried 60,000 riders from the Ball State area. 50,000 of those were students. Anywhere you want to go, MITS will take you there.
Welcome back live. Look over part of campus this morning. A very beautiful shot. It feels nice out there. Your time right now is 8:20, and as we come back here into the studio, we're going to talk about something that's really cool here, a consumer story for you. Nestle Purina is launching dog food and cat food. Hey there, Annie. How you doing?
I'm pretty interested in too, but you go ahead.
I'm really interested in this too. So we're talking about dog food, cat food, and it includes insect proteins as well as other alternatives to meat. Nestle Beyond Nature's protein has two versions. One mixes black soldier fly larvae, chicken, and fava beans. The other includes chicken, pig's liver, and plant protein. Nestle says insect and plant proteins are more sustainable than meat. Did you know that?
Does that sound yummy? You think
well,
so?
not really. I'll pass on this one. And also, it will help protect the environment. The new products go on sale. Nestle is home. Their home is in Switzerland. The company plans to roll these two different
How
types
about
of
I
food
just
out.
won't tell my dog what's in that?
2021, that's when you can get it. 8:21 on this Friday morning. By the way, it's really nice out there.
It felt beautiful coming in this morning. Even at 6 o'clock, it still felt pretty good, and I'm hoping it's going to stay that way.
Well, actually, it will stay that way, and it will remain warm in our area for pretty much most of the next few days as we go through this weekend into early next week, until we start to see a major cool down into our area later on, which I'll show you in just a moment. But take a look at this. Nothing going on on the radar right now, which is pretty good, which is going to allow those sunshine to really warm up the temperatures. And you can take a look, it's, again, not too much going on in the area. Now take a look at these temperatures right now. 47 degrees in Indianapolis, 50 degrees in Muncie at this hour. And we're going to take a look at the precision cast for the temperatures. You can see that we're not going to be it's going to be pretty much the same way as we go through the weekend. 74 degrees in Indianapolis, 73 degrees is our temperature for a high on Sunday, and that's well above average for this time of the year. And it's going to remain that way as we go through early next week as well. So for today, it'll be at 9 o'clock, it'll be 54 degrees at 9 o'clock, 66 degrees at 12 o'clock, and 70 degrees here at 5 o'clock as that sun gets ready to goes down. For tonight, you're going to see it's going to be clear skies, low of 47 degrees, south winds at 5 miles an hour. As you take a look at that Sunday of that Colts game against the Baltimore Ravens, both teams 5-2 right now. The Lucas Oil Stadium should be open because it's going to be pretty warm out there. 75 degrees is going to be our high. Hopefully the offense is going to be warm as well so they can score some points to beat those Baltimore Ravens. We'll find out on Sunday when it comes to that. But we're going to take a look at this jet stream right here. This ridge of high pressure that's sitting over our area is pretty much going to keep our temperatures pretty warm as we go through this weekend into early next week. Before this cool down comes here. As you know, the jet stream is pretty much a river of air that separates warm and cold air. So that's pretty much what this is right here. We're sitting pretty much in the warm sector right now. As you see, once we get to that cold, once we get to that, it's going to really start to cool down on Wednesday. You're going to see my 7-day forecast in just a bit. But guess what, guys? 20 days away from Thanksgiving. 20 days away. I hope I don't make you all hungry, but I can't wait for that. When we see that turkey dressing, the collard greens, and the macaroni and cheese. Man, that sounds good just thinking about that. But you know what makes it sounds good? The 7-day forecast. Man, I love this forecast. 70s as we go throughout the weekend and early next week until we hit Wednesday, the bad one right there. 57 degrees will be our high on Wednesday as the cold front comes to our area on Tuesday. 54 degrees on Thursday. So enjoy these warm temperatures while you still can, because guess what? They're not about to remain in our area. And I'm disappointed about that because I love the warm weather and I love that. I don't want to see no snow in this area.
I was going to say, it looked like a beautiful weekend.
Yeah.
We'll ignore Wednesday for now. Things are subject to change, but man, that looks like a great weekend.
And by the way, Ryan, you can't bring up food. Come on now. We're both hungry over here. You're talking Thanksgiving.
It's like about lunchtime for us now.
Yes,
so now
it is.
I'm thinking mac and cheese.
Have you eaten breakfast yet? Either one of you?
No,
Not
no,
a
not
breakfast
yet. Not
person,
yet.
absolutely not.
We're both hungry. Maybe we can get a turkey, some mac and cheese.
Well, that sounds good right now.
All right, thank you so much this morning, Ryan. And in just a moment, it's a big day for coffee lovers. A Starbucks favorite makes its return today.
I'm surprised you don't have a Starbucks drink with you right now.
Oh, I didn't have time this morning, but I will be going and grab one of these later.
Yeah, and of course, we're going to also be covering some election news in your Cardinal Weather News Minute. Stay with us.
From the heart of Ball State to the heart of your community, NewsLink Indiana brings you local and state news you care about. We pride ourselves with giving you the most reliable news coverage, stories that affect you, linking you to the community each night on air and online. NewsLink Indiana, bringing news to the heart of your community.
Welcome back. Time to recap some of the local election results in a special Cardinal Weather News Minute. In the race for governor, Eric Holcomb has won another term, the Republican incumbent beating Democratic challenger Dr. Woody Myers and Libertarian candidate Donald Rainwater. The three went head-to-head in two separate debates and in the election. Holcomb says he knows challenging times still lie ahead. The governor was one of several Republicans getting big wins across Indiana. The chairman of the Delaware County Republicans saying on NewsLink Indiana he's pleased with the outcome of several races.
Over 48,000 people cast their votes today. Over 20,000 of those were early and absentee by mail. And they overwhelmingly elected Republicans. So they're happy with the direction that the county is going.
Indiana Democrats also coming together on election night. However, their watch party was virtual. It was streamed on Facebook Live. There was a gathering here in Delaware County for perhaps the biggest race up for grabs, the congressional race in District 6. Congressman Greg Pence getting the win against Jeanine Lee Lake. Here's what Lake said just before her race was called by the Associated Press.
We to go to different places, and we're very proud of the race that we run in terms of meeting people and changing people's lives.
Our sister show NewsLink Indiana will bring you the very latest this morning on NewsLink Indiana midday at 11:30. And that's your election 2020 special Cardinal Weather News Minute. All right, so last week, Chris Guevara, he was so lucky. He took us to the Smokies, and it was so beautiful there. But you know what? He's now at another beautiful place, back here on campus at Ball State, and he's talking about another important part of the leaf changing color process. Good morning, Chris. What do you have for us in break?
Good morning, Tyler. I am here at Christie Woods on the amazing campus of Ball State. Just a couple of weeks ago on Breaking Down the Science, I went to the Smoky Mountains National Park and actually talked about how leaves change their color with the breakdown of chlorophyll. But during this time, especially during the spring and summer seasons, when the leaves just stay their natural green color, they undergo a process called photosynthesis. On this episode of Breaking Down the Science, I will be explaining more in detail of how that process of photosynthesis actually works. During the photosynthesis process, carbon dioxide, which is intake from the air, and water, which is intake from the soil, gets stored inside a plant. During the process, water is oxidized, which means that it loses its electrons. However, carbon dioxide is reduced, which means it gains electrons. Eventually, this water turns into oxygen, and that carbon dioxide and those electrons turned into glucose. During this time, oxygen then gets released into the air, while the glucose from that carbon dioxide is stored as energy. It is the reason why, especially kind of looking a little bit at these trees, during the spring and summer season is where plants get that natural green color, because they're able to do the photosynthesis process, as well as that chlorophyll. However, during those fall seasons, the photosynthesis process starts eventually ending, chlorophyll starts breaking down, and that's where we start getting those leaves to change its colors. Coming to you from Christie Woods here on Ball State's campus, Chris Guevara, Cardinal Weather.
Hey, cool stuff, Chris. Now, Starbucks is ready to spread some cheer with their new holiday cups, and here they are. This year's theme is Carry the Merry, appropriate for 2020. You can get a free reusable version of the holiday cup by ordering one of their seasonal drinks, and I'm looking forward to that treat this morning once we're out of here. And if you think we're not serious about Cardinal Weather,
yeah,
here,
we're getting ready for Christmas.
Yes, absolutely.
How long away now? How many days do we have? Like over a month?
It doesn't matter. November 1st hits. It's Christmas. We're going to go ahead and give you a look
Yeah, take a look at this right here.
That's our apartment.
Ooh.
As of November 1st, we are very, very serious when it comes to Christmas here. Wasted no time, and it looks like Christmas inside our apartment.
It feels like it too with the music playing and everything.
But where it does not feel like Christmas right now, outside.
Yeah, Ryan Crump, one final check of that weather. I know temperatures right now and throughout the next several days are going to be in the 70s. So is that going to continue, or could we get some snow, maybe some Christmassy weather?
No Christmas weather right now. I wish it could stay that way. We're going to be in the 70s as we go through the weekend early next week, but we do see a cool down coming our way later on next week with 50s returning to our area.
Guess we'll just have to hold on to fall while we have it. Thank you so much. And that's all for us for Cardinal Weather this morning. Thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah, we'll see you next Friday. NewsLink Indiana has your headlines this morning on NewsLink Indiana Midday at 11:30. Have a great weekend.